back to Brotherly Beliefs, Faith, Family, and Fun. I'm Malik.
And I'm Tristan. Join us for candid conversations about life tapestry. The faith that binds us, the family that shapes us, the pure fun woven in every moment. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, let's dive into the heart of our story. It's an incredible episode of
Brotherly Beliefs. So man, you've been gone for a while, bro.
I have.
We don't have to say the details if you don't want to.
No. Good.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that like being away from your family?
Bro, it's rough. It's always rough.
Yeah, because you go through this every once in a while, every blue moon.
Yeah. So it's a different feeling, man. You miss moments that you want to be there for. Like I missed an appointment, OB appointment that was very vital. We had very vital information that it was being addressed, and now I'm getting all that information secondhand rather than firsthand from the doctor being right there.
And it's just a different feeling, like being present in that moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So that way, like, you know how to take the situation, how to be there for your wife. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand not wanting to miss any improvements.
Oh yeah, and it's the first time I've ever seen a sonic burn of the baby. Like pictures instead of actually being there.
So how do you deal with that? Like, because obviously every time is different. How do you go about that?
That's a good question. You just do it. That's the best way to explain it.
Like it's not like you got a choice.
Yeah, so there's no choice behind it. So you kind of just, my key thing is to just out of sight, out of mind. It's not a good mindset to have.
But it's just what helps you cope with it.
Yeah, 100%. Good. Have this out of sight, out of mind mentality, right? Because at the end of the day, you have things you have to do, you have things you have to get done. So in order to do that, you have to be able to put all the bullshit aside and then just focus on the task at hand.
So, what are some things, like this time you missed out on the appointment? What are some other things that you missed out on, like because you couldn't be present?
So in the last 5 years, I've celebrated one birthday here. A lot, man. Birthdays, graduations. I missed my mom's master's degree graduation. Everything, man. Like, it's crazy. I could just say it. The Army has a funny way of scheduling things on top of other things. Right? And so you get put into this position where you miss out on a lot. And then, like, I was gone for a year. I missed so much in a year. Like, it affects the relationships you have with others. It affects, like, because especially with kids, right? We say nephews, right? For example, Zaylen was the first one that I was here for their birth, like nephew-wise. I was gone for everyone else's. So, good example of before I was deployed, Jason's son, close, tight, right? And so I left for a year, and I left for a year at a moment of great growth. So then I came back, and that bond's not the same. He's coming back around now, and we're getting back into that bond, but I just sacrificed a year of time. You know what I mean? And so that's what it is. It's like time travel, right? So I left for a year. My life has stayed the same. Nothing has changed civilian-wise. So then I come back, and everything's different. People live in different houses. People have moved on with their life. It's the most if anybody ever needs to learn that the whole world doesn't revolve around them, ship them away for a year and bring them back. And when everything around them is completely different, that'll be the sign that oh shoot, the world doesn't revolve around me. Because it's a weird feeling, man. It's like, and then there's like a depressing feeling to it, right? Because the phone works two ways, right? At some point, you feel like I always reach out to everyone. I'm no longer reaching out to anyone. They can reach out to me because there's a fact that like they don't care, and that's like a big stigma in the army or in the military. Period, is that like people don't make their way to go visit people. It's always people who move away. Think about like I'm sure you know people who moved out of the state, right? It's always them coming home, not people going out there. Other than like parents and stuff like that, but they lose their bond with all their friends because nobody ever comes and visits them. It's always people coming back to here. And then when they do, it's never people reaching out to them to make plans. It's always them trying to put something together.
And that's crazy because I never thought of it in that aspect until you just said it. Like, yeah, the world does just keep moving on. You know what I mean? Like the way I see it, you're off on a business trip. Like you're living hand of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you get back or however much time, yeah, things have changed. And it's like you're ready to pick up where you left off, but it's not like that anymore.
Oh yeah, completely.
So I never thought of it like that, and it does sound sad. You know what I mean? So with that being said, and obviously with me asking this, the good answer would be like yes, because it's a noble act, you know what I mean, being in the military and things like that. But if you thought of it from just like it's okay to be selfish kind of thing, is it worth it being in the military? Like for you, I wouldn't think of anybody else. What are your thoughts on
that? Is it worth it? That's a good question. When I was single, yeah. Why not? I'm getting paid pretty well. My deployment, I was getting paid pretty well. Not nearly enough for the shit. Not nearly enough for the shit you have to go through. But at the same time, a lot of people struggle to understand it's what you can get from the Army, not what the Army can get from you, right? The Army takes. But you also have to think about what you can get from the Army, right? What lessons, what skills, what courses, what experience you can get from the Army, because maybe you are just a number. Say that nobody in your leadership cares about you and you are just a number. At what point do you flip the script and change it? What point do you pick up that pencil and write your own destiny? Right? Because it's easy to say, man, I messed up and the Army did this, and this. Well, yeah, it's the Army. It's just like any other business. Military is a business at the end of the day. Spend money to make money. And so at what point do you say, man, like, this is what I want, and I don't care what it is, whether it's you going to college for free using your GI Bill, or using a VA loan to buy a house, or whatever it is. There's so many things that you can do in the Army. Once you get high enough in the ranks, you can use that as managerial experience and put your foot in the door to be a manager at companies, right? And so at what point do you say, okay, this is my life, I'll do what I want and take it for what it is. I made this choice, I made this decision, right? Me right now, my biggest thing is I'm getting insurance, good insurance. I'm paying around $250, mostly. But I'm not paying anything. I can have 5 kids. I think it's 8 kids before they start increasing it or something like that. So it's 10 people on an insurance plan for $250.
Right.
Doesn't change.
That's good.
And so, good insurance. Like, Caitlin's about to have a baby, and we're gonna pay at most $35.
That's nuts.
$35. That's it.
And I feel like that's the biggest part is like perspective, you know what I mean, and what your plan is. Because if you join the military without a plan, then I feel like more times than not you're
Well, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan, right?
Yeah, but you made one.
Yeah.
You had a family, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And you have these careers that you want to go to.
But when you met me, was it any of this planned?
No.
Okay, I left for Cuba. At that point, was any of this planned?
No.
No.
When you first started in the military, you had no idea that you would be here right now.
No, you think first of all, if you would have told me when I first entered the military that I would be doing a podcast, I'd have been like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Working on projects that we're working on, like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I was very different, completely different person. I went to the military to get me away from the things that were dragging me down, right? That was my only plan. That was the only reason that I even went into the military, is because I needed to get away from the things that were like dragging me down, putting me in the same cycle. So after doing that, everything else kind of fell in place. And then that's when I'm like, ooh, this sounds cool, this sounds cool, this sounds cool. Okay, what do I gotta do any of this? Okay. And then you do more research about each individual thing, and that's when you can start this plan of, boy, this is something I do. Or as you get older, you just find passions, right? I'm a jack of many trades, master of none, right? I can do a little of a lot. I can't do a lot of a little, right? So I can go out and fix your car, but I can also rewire your bathroom. I can lay tile in your living area, in your kitchen. I can do all of these things. I have so many skills, and that's where my biggest problem is. Even to this day, is pinpointing what it is I want to do. What it is, like having that needle in that thing. This is the end goal, right? And so as I try to figure that out, I have 100 different things that run through my mind of whether or not like it's something for me, right? So because everything's an individual basis, everything is relative.
As you get older, you find things that you love and you enjoy doing, and so then if you're trying to go down a career path that you enjoy, that's not just a job, that is actually fun, then you have to find that thing first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and it's crazy how like you go about finding that thing, because when you first started your job at the hospital, you loved that job, and then now not so much. You know what I mean?
And
so,
it's not that I don't love my job. So when I first started, it was great. But there's just, as things come out, right? So even as you get to know people, right? Things come out and you're like, you're not a really good person. It's the same way with job environments, anything like that, is as you go along, you learn things that are like, there's a better way to handle this. And then when I give my opinion and then it's just shut down and it's not, and change doesn't happen, then it's kind of just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity, right? So now, and so it makes me feel like I'm not meant to be an employee. Like, genuinely, I do not think I am meant to be an employee. I think because it doesn't make sense. Like, and I'm a very logical person, right? Even from a young age, I've always been a very logical person. We can use example, right? You can't hit your sister, right? Well, she hit me first. Well, now I can't punish her because you already punished her. Now I have to punish you, right? And so I'm very logical, very cause and effect. This is what happened. This is the reaction. So how do you mitigate that cause and effect aspect? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have a problem with There you go. You have a problem with someone breaking into your garage door every night. Are you gonna change something, or are you gonna keep letting them break in?
No, it's gonna change.
Oh, wow. Someone breaks into your garage, you change something, right? You get a security system put up, or an extra lock on your garage door, whatever it may be. But something like you have to have some mitigation of like a logical like change to change what's happening, right? So you can see here and be like, oh, my feelings are hurt. Oh my God, they keep breaking into my house. What am I gonna do? Or you can just change something. No emotion involved. Just fix it. Like mitigate the problem. And so when problems arise and it's just, oh well, that's just how it is. It's not how it is. Like, you can change things. You can do things differently to mitigate these problems. And I like that aspect of business, right? I like to be the person thinking about the situations of what needs to change to have better outcomes. Okay, let's look at all the things that are causing these problems. Okay, this is how we fix this. 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 And that will fix this big problem that is caused by all these little problems. So, garage doors getting broken into. Okay, well, how are they breaking into your garage? Oh, they have a universal garage door opener, right? They broke into your car. That was in the garage. How'd they break into your car? Oh, well, it was unlocked. Okay, so if I lock my car and I put a lock on my garage door that slides over, right? And then lock the door to the outside of the garage that you walk through, they can't break into my garage. Therefore, they can't break into my car. Very simple, right? And so the problem with big organizations is that they don't think about these little problems. They don't think about the day-to-day operation problems. They're thinking about the company as a whole problems. So then when these little guys are saying, hey, we're still down here, like these are our problems that we're having now. Oh, well, here's some solutions. No, those won't work. No. Cost too much money. No. But you're forking out money for dumb stuff, things that you don't really need. And so at what point do you level it out and say, okay, we can meet these expectations and we can solve these problems. We can't solve all of the problems right now, but we can solve these problems. You're solving there has to be a balance, right? So you can't just fix minor problems, just the small little details. No, you have to do the things that are going to fix those bigger issues, right? And so, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Being a business owner might be the move to make, man.
Yeah, for real. Because there's so many other jobs that require a problem solver, basically. Oh, yeah. And shoot, the job you have, or not the exact position, but the job you have, there's a problem solver up there as well. You know what I mean? They just choose not to solve certain problems. So it's just getting to that level or getting to that field or that position that's going to get you to what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And another thing that I was like getting ready to say was like, it's like trying to find the passion, you know what I mean? You're a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's like you start off liking doing what you start off doing, and then it just falls out of love, you know what I mean? So it's like as a jack of all trades, how do you find something that you master, you know what I mean? Where does that passion come in?
Good question.
Yeah. 'Cause do you just end the story as a jack of all trades, master of none, or
who knows, man? We're not there yet. You know what I mean? Like that's
because we still have a whole lot of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Like we do. We're 21 and 23 years old. We have at least a few more decades.
God willingly.
Yeah.
Pray so.
But it's a good question, right? Because not every trade I learn is not every little thing that I learn is. I just got like an obsession with knowledge, man. I just like learning things. Like I don't know what it is. New things just like, it's the challenge of learning new things, right? So, like, I don't know, man. It's like, I got hyper focused. I'm like, I got to learn this. Okay, boom, learn that. Now I'm just like on to the next thing. And so I have hobbies, fishing. You know, I know a lot about fishing, cars, right? I got the Fiero, and that project's put on hold right now. But like, that's something that is going to be coming in the near future. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I have hobbies. I have things that I'm passionate about, but nothing. I couldn't work on cars for a living. I couldn't work on other people's cars for a living. Could not. I like, business wise, I need a positive um a positive career. Like, you know what I mean? I couldn't be the guy you call when your water heater explodes and you need a new water heater. Or I shouldn't say explodes, because that's kind of gory. But when your water heater breaks, I can't be that guy you call, because you're already mad. You can't be the guy you call when your car's not starting in the morning and you need to go to work, because you're already in a bad mood, right? Photography or videography, right? Most of the time you're at these people's, like, majority. Some people are just assholes. Like, that's just how it goes. But majority of the people you're shooting for, it's happy moments. You know what I mean? Weddings. You can do engagement photos, videos. You know what I mean? So it's like you're having people what they want to be their best moments. So there's a less likely chance of hostile people. There always are. Everything's a bell curve, right? But I just couldn't. I couldn't. Like, I just think that would be my demise. It would be
having to deal with, like, negative people every day. Yeah. I definitely understand that.
It would just interrupt my peace.
So, going back on a jack of all trades, like, because I'm curious, because I know a lot of jack of all trades, and they end up getting old just being a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? It's almost like they settle for something. You know what I mean? So my question is, if you're a jack of all trades, why don't you, like, just settle with something that you feel would make you the most money?
I thought about this, actually.
Yeah.
I thought about doing, like, going back to school for, like, general contracting, getting my electrician, my HVAC, and all of this, right? And then I am a jack of all trades. I'm getting paid to be a jack. I can build you your entire house.
Yeah.
Right? From framing to electrical to roofing to siding, right? I can do it all. To your air conditioning system, right? So I could do it all, but time is money, right? And so to build a house from the ground up, there's a lot. Obviously, I'd have a team and all of that, but still, like, that would all be, like, general contracting is enough already. To add everything else on top of it is just, I don't know, man. We're looking for the passion. We're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna just and that's the thing, is I'm willing to try anything, and I'm really willing to try anything more than once. That's the key. A lot of people say I'm willing to try anything once. Okay, one time you can have a bad experience. That first time can be a bad experience, right? So it's like food. I'm using a lot of analogies today, but it's like food, right? You try one person's fish, you may not like it. You try another person's fish, this is good, right? It's the same thing, different recipes. And so I may not like working for this guy doing general contracting, but this guy, he actually treats me like a human being and an apprentice and wants me to learn. And so it's just one of those things where it just depends on who you work for and what you do. Am I ever going to find what it is I'm passionate about? I don't know, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, right now, I'm passionate about videography, but in 10 years, who knows where I could end up, you know what I mean? So it's really just about, like, if if the path that I'm going on is still what's for me, for like is it the path that God wants for me? You know what I mean? Is it like what's best for my family? You know, because it's so different from, like you said earlier, like when you were single. Yeah, going to the military was like the number one plan for you, but now you have a family and it's a little different now. You know what I mean? And having many more responsibilities and many more different things in your factor of life can alter your decisions. And like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Right. So recent events, through my path for a curve. Right. I put in an application for my dream job. Right. Events happen. Whatever happened. Right. There's a chance I don't get it, but I now have. They got back to me. I now have to go take a test on the 25th. This Thursday, I have to go take a test for them to basically my next step in the application process. Right.
Nice.
So.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we can't say anything other than that. Because,
Yeah. No.
But yeah, so if that becomes a thing, then will I find my passion? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know one thing I am for sure passionate about 100% is traveling. If I can get paid to travel,
Yeah.
and then I'm also getting the best of both worlds, right? Because I'm being able to travel, and I'm also being able to protect people. And I'm getting to do the best of both worlds in that situation. So, is it going to be for me? Who knows, man? I may go through it all, and then I'll be in the position where I'm like, I don't like this.
Right.
I'll be. Good money is not good enough, right? So
Yeah.
making good money isn't a reason to stay somewhere you're unhappy or you're not liking, right? You got to find that thing, man.
Have you ever thought of stocks?
Stocks are scary, bro.
Yeah.
I played with the stock market.
Yeah.
But I did good in the stock market, right? So I played the stock market in COVID when I was in basic, when I just had expendable money. And it was just like, if I lose, I lose, right?
Mhm.
So I invested in travel companies and stuff like that when they were low. So when they came up, when COVID came, we got
out of COVID.
travel restrictions got released or lifted. Everything went back up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what made you stop that?
Fear. 100%. Like it's like gambling, man. You're taking a gamble, and it's different when you have like a fund that already, when you already have that stability, and then you're investing in stock markets. It's entirely different, right? But when you're just playing the stock market, like as extra income, because you have to start with extra income if you're not already built, right? So if you're just doing that with your extra money, you're taking a gamble. And so, yeah, man.
I see a lot of people that like will get on TikTok or Instagram and be like, "Oh, I got rich from stocks and stuff like that." But they're 9 times out of 10 when I see them, they're a single household. You know what I mean? It's just them. So I don't see anybody that have come up. Yeah, too. And like I don't see very many people that's like started out like with a family, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then built up with stocks, you know what I mean? And it's
I'm sure it's happened. I
just
haven't
for
seen
sure. Right. I just like you said, I haven't seen
it. But I also think that after you have a family and all of this, there's more maturity not to just be on TikTok. Oh yeah, I got rich off of stock market. No, I think there's more of a humbleness to it. But that's also another problem in society, right? Gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Like people are so like, this is what I do. This is how I make my money. I won't be willing to teach anybody else. Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
If you have the knowledge to uplift someone else and bring them out of the position that you once were in, why not do that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where, like, I just don't understand it. Why gatekeep the secrets to like how you became successful?
Right.
If you know how to do it and you know the steps you have to go through, then why not share them?
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think it has to do with a lot of people's past. Like, I feel like most people's number one reason is that they had to get it themselves. So they feel they're obligated to tell everybody that they need to do it themselves. You know what I mean?
But
And
why?
yeah, exactly. Why? Like, why not be the change of that? You know what I mean? Like, that's almost the same as generational curses. You know what I'm saying? It's a curse not to
Societal
break that
curse.
cycle. Yeah, exactly. The societal curse not to break that cycle. So I don't know if I ever got to a point where I could, I feel like I'm on top. You know what I mean? I would definitely reach out and be like, look, this is how I did it. This is how you could do it. You know what I mean? And there's people that do it, but you never know if it's legit unless you try. You know what I mean? You give it your all. And there are people that advertise like, if you buy this plan for me, this is how I did it. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I don't know.
But why does it have to be by this plan? I mean, yeah, 100%
Right?
time
Why
is money.
why you have to make profit off
Yeah.
it? You know what I mean? Why can't
Off
you just do
of-
it off the kind she heard?
The people you know are just looking for that opportunity.
Right.
One open door,
Yeah.
right? So, like the example I'll use is, right, the people who come back and this is my ideal thought process, right? This is really what I genuinely think. If I was ever to make it big, whatever it was, I genuinely think I would team up with nonprofits, as in Boys and Girls Club, even schools, right? And do it nonprofit wise. Like, I'd start my own nonprofit and work with other nonprofits and schools and find people with that same passion and who want to do the same thing and show them how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, because I think a lot of people, it's crazy when you see people who, when you went to school with, you know, who've made it and forget where they came from. Right? And so,
Mhm.
like, we were on the same block. Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't sit here and act like because you've made it out, you, like, a lot of things are a roll of a dice. Like, you tried something and it worked and you know that, and like, I don't know, man. Community is everything, man. You got to remember where you're from. You got to remember what you came from, and that there's probably a kid in your same position with the same passion with no means to make it happen. And so, even if it was for you, right? Even if it was you found a kid with that same passion and you gave them their first camera. Think about what they could do with one camera. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a lot of people who are so focused on issues outside world issues when there's so many issues to be conquered in the U.S. We don't got to focus on the world. We got to focus on us, right?
Mhm.
We got to focus on our people, because there's so much division and separation, and I don't just mean that race-wise, financially, socially, like economically, like the from social class to economical class to all these things. Like, you, at some point, we got to change something.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much division. There's so much division and not enough change happening now. I won't say over the last 100 years. Change happened a lot in between the 50s and 2000, but now it's just slowly slowing down more and more. At what point do we say, okay, this is how we address these issues?
Mm-hmm.
This is how we fix these things. And so, again, it goes right back to the problem-solving thing of, these are our problems, how do we solve them?
Mm-hmm. And as a problem solver, if you had to say 3 things that you think would benefit changing, what would they be? Like just off the top of your head.
Okay. Number one. Narcotics. I'm not talking about weed, right? I'm talking about actual hard drugs. Addictive substances that ruin people's lives. Not saying that weed hasn't never ruined anybody's life, just less common. Right? So drug abuse programs and limiting the drugs in and out of the country, because most of the drugs that are in the U.S. are imported, right? Majority, not saying all, majority, right? So cut down on that. That guaranteed leads to less homelessness. Fix that problem, right? With that being said, housing standards, not only, and I don't just mean the housing market, I mean like even renting, right? The availability of housing and the housing standards, right? And so, third, raising the minimum wage or regulating the cost on things, right? Because the economy is so high that like you could not survive on a single family income if you wanted to. There's no way. Not with you can barely survive middle class. And so one of those things, man, I think those three things could make a big difference on the impact of like economical change.
Okay, cool.
Societal, that's a
Whole different story.
Yeah. Because again, everything is thought of with emotion. Everything is. I feel. Okay, at some point you have to think logically. Does this logically make sense? Can this be proven? Is this a fact? Is this like everything that is thought of emotionally can be broken down logically. And so it's one of those things of all of our problems, every problem can be solved in a logical manner. It can be. I don't know, man. But as human beings, you have a natural urge to have that. And maybe that's the military talking in me, where it's like take the emotion out of it. Who knows? But I've always been a logical thinker, and so I don't know why problems can't be just solved logically, man. I just don't understand it. Logically, there's so many solutions to so many problems. If we sat down and wrote a list of every problem that was wrong with society, I bet you there's a logical answer. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where
Yeah. In society, a lot of problems are caused emotionally. I'll say that. And that is because a lot of people either don't know how, or they didn't choose to, or either they didn't know how, or they didn't choose to handle their emotions properly in that time, or at least in a logical sense.
Yeah.
And they let their emotions get the best of them, and it led them to a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could have been solved quickly or better, I'll say, and it just let them down the drain. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it goes to everything. I don't know, man. Be decent human beings, I guess. Dude, it's just, and that's a logical thing to say. Just be a decent human being. Despite your emotions, just be logically a decent human being. Leave people alone. Let them be them. Mind your business, dude. It's just, who cares? Really, who cares?
And with that being said, this has been a great episode of Brotherly Beliefs.
Check us out on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, out on all platforms. We post every Monday. Give us a like, follow, and share. Turn the notification bells on. And until next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys later.